Yeah, so do either of you guys know who Muhammad Attallah is? Have you heard of him before?
I haven't heard of him before.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of
Other
him
than
until
reading this, yeah.
a little bit before today. It turns out he's actually really important in the field of modern technology. But he was born in 1924 in Port Said, Egypt. So he's an international student, just like you.
Yep.
And then he died in California in 2009. He received his Bachelor's of Science degree from Cairo University, and then his Master's and PhDs in Mechanical Engineering from Purdue. And so that's how he got here to Purdue, was his post-baccalaureate studies. And he started his career after that. He moved on to Bell Labs, and he invented the MOSFET, which do you guys know what a MOSFET is?
I also
don't.
Okay. It's a very electrical engineering thing, but it's a type of transistor which is fundamental to a lot of the modern day electronics that we use.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he pioneered a lot of modern day electronics that use these MOSFETs by creating them. But his invention wasn't really recognized for all it was worth at Bell Labs, so he left. He left. He started a semiconductor division of another company, and then eventually...
Yeah, so I just learned this, moved into cryptography and data security, because, I mean, those are big fields now, right? I mean, and ever more, the data and security is getting big. And he actually pioneered the personal identification number, which is the pen, which, when you type in your pen, you're buying something. He pioneered that. I did not know that. That's really cool. And then it's a security protocol he also pioneered called the Attallah box, named, of course, after him. But it actually helps to secure the ATM transactions worldwide, which is crazy.
It's crazy to know that's one person had so much impact. And it's really crazy. Even for everything that we use, transactions and everything day to day.
Yeah, it's such a wide variety of stuff too.
Yeah, it's such a great research product that you put in.
Yeah,
that's the thing with research. Sometimes you research on the scientific side and you don't really see as the main researcher, you don't know how that's going to be used until an engineer and stuff comes in actually this can be used for medical purposes. Let's create the CGI machine and all that. So very good.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, again, now every time I type in my pen, I'll remember back to this episode and Mr. Muhammad Attallah. and think about this. I mean, you do things on a daily basis, you don't realize where they actually come from, and that's crazy to know that this one person graduated from Purdue. Of course, we love to tout the Purdue, but was able to do this. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and roll the intro and get into this episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Coffee Break with Purdue Engineering, the gateway to your next giant leap. In this podcast series, we discuss the many engineering programs and majors here at Purdue through conversational interviews between current Purdue students and Purdue staff and faculty. I'm Nick Buffo, a senior in biomedical engineering, continuing on to medical school in the fall of 2024.
And I'm Calvin Given, a current junior in electrical engineering with a minor in business economics. We really hope you enjoy our show, and it helps answer some of the questions about what it's like to be an engineering student here at Purdue.
All right. Welcome back to this week's episode. We're actually going to be hearing from two current international students here at Purdue and the College of Engineering. And so again, I am one of your hosts, Nick Buffo.
And I'm Calvin Given, and this week we are first joined by Isabella, a fellow peer counselor in the Office of Future Engineers and a senior in Aerospace Engineering. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Thank you for the nice introduction. I think you already said much of what comes in a profile here at Purdue, name and major. But yeah, I'm an international student from Brazil. I lived in Brazil most of my life, and then I finished high school in Los Angeles, California, and then I just moved here to Indiana to do my bachelor's in aerospace engineering at Purdue. So yeah, I'm a senior, but I actually did a bunch of internships, time off because of COVID, etc. Have a long story with Purdue, and yeah, because of that, I'm a senior / super senior, what we call someone that, right,
has an extra year.
Yeah,
right?
Has an extra year. Yeah, but I'm still graduating in 4 years, so yeah,
yeah,
in between. I don't know whether I am junior, senior, but
Isabella, please pronounce your last name because it is so beautiful, and I want to hear it.
Oh, thank you. So it's Isabella De Salvo Fontoura.
Wow.
Yep.
And
I was definitely going to butcher that. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I go Fontoura, but that just hurts my heart every time.
Fontoura.
So De Salvo Fontoura.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I think you were also going abroad next semester.
Yes.
What are you doing? Yeah, I'd love to hear about it.
Yeah, so I'm studying abroad next semester for a year. So I'm going to Italy. I'm going to go to Politecnico di Milano. And because I'm a senior, and also most of the classes that are offered there in English are, they have to be like master's level courses. So I'm kind of excited, but also a bit nervous about that. Like, how it's going to be for me to take like master level courses, but I think it's going to be like good introduction stuff. So I go with GEAR. It is a study abroad, work abroad program at Purdue. And I am taking that as also as a minor. So when I come back and I graduate, I'm going to have the global engineering studies minor as well on top of that. And I did my work abroad portion. So I worked with Airbus for a year in the UK. I got back, stayed here for like this semester. And now next semester I'm going again. I'm going to Italy and doing my study abroad portion of GEAR. So I'm going to stay there a semester, take all the classes, transfer the credit back to Purdue. And then when I return to Purdue next fall, it's going to be my graduation time. So this is going to be my last semester. Really excited.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, like what are some things you wish you would have known about Purdue and Purdue engineering before or when you decided to study here? You know, what were some things that you've discovered now that you kind of wanted to know back and you could tell your, senior year self?
Yeah, that's always a very interesting question, I think. And it's kind of hard to answer, I think. First of all, like very cliche one, but like the weather, I really didn't know it was going to be that cold. Just wanted to be a little bit more prepared of like how it really is to be like up north, like with the negative 20 degrees Celsius. That's a very cliche response, but it's true.
It doesn't get that cold in Brazil, right?
No. No. It does snow in some parts, but not negative 20 for sure. Or, I don't know, 35 Fahrenheit, 30. I don't know how much.
It goes even cold, yeah.
I have...
This morning was 20 degrees Fahrenheit, I think, so.
Oh, okay, so yeah, much lower than that.
Yeah, I think we'll get single digits a couple days, but that's usually it doesn't go negative Fahrenheit.
Like February time, like the very cold snowstorm type of thing.
Which, have you enjoyed the weather? I know it's different. Have you enjoyed it?
So I did, because it's very different. So there is a lot of stuff to do, like what's it called? The mountain that everyone...
Slater Hill. Yes.
Love Slater Hill. So for those that don't know, we have like a mini hill here at Purdue, and everybody just likes to go there when this is like a very snowy day. We grab like cardboards. You see people like with all sorts of stuff, like anything really. Like I've seen even couches over there, like people just drag in and then they go down the hill. It's super fun. Yeah. But then coming back to your main question, like what I wish I'd known about Purdue. Okay, yeah, cold. I'd like to know, but also it's like about the community of Purdue. I think like coming here, like I had the privilege to come and visit beforehand, which I think most of the international students really can't. Yeah, it's very different. Like usually in the US, like people, I will just go for the weekend and visit the college. For international students, that's not really what happens, because you can't really go like, just pay the ticket just to see a college. Yeah, so it's very hard. So something that I wished, like I had the privilege to come and be able to do a tour and stuff. And I did that. I didn't know like Purdue at all. And I was very shy. Like I didn't want to contact anyone at Purdue. I was like, I just want to go and see if this is for me. Like also as international students, we have to, like we're very encouraged to apply to many universities. Like we apply to 10, 12 universities. And so I was like, I'm not going to visit all of these. So I was like, I chose Purdue and was like, okay, I'll go and see how this one is, because I think was the most different one from the other ones. The other ones was like very city, like middle of the city, like downtown type of
urban campuses.
Yes, and this was very different. I was like, okay, I really want to see what it looks like, what it feels like. And when I got here, I just completely fell in love with the energy of like the people, the campus. It really felt alive. Like I remember the day I was leaving the airport and like I had to go to Indianapolis and then get a shuttle to come to West Lafayette. And then when I was entering Lafayette, I was just like, what am I putting myself into? Like what is this? Like all those trees. It was like April time, so like it was kind of getting warmer again, but like the trees are all sad and everything was gray, and I was like, what am I doing here? And the moment the shuttle crossed to West Lafayette and they started to like the buildings, it was just so many people walking, but it was cold. It was just so many people walking, like everybody seemed so energetic and stuff, and people going in and out and all the buildings, and like it just seemed so alive, and I really fell in love with that. And then also, like, I think a good advice to any international students that are looking to come to Purdue and or really just want to know what it looks like is that there are so many clubs and organizations for like specific countries, etc. So there's like the Asian club, there's like the India, the Pakistan, there's so many of them, and there's also like the Brazilian Student Association. It's called BRASA. So I got in touch with them, and then like they were the ones to give me a tour around. So it was really nice because at the same time I could meet the other Brazilians that were already here. Like we had lunch together, like in the dining courts. I already know, okay, so how is the dining court like? What the residence dorms like? And they took me to see some of those as well. So it's really nice, this connectivity that you have with people, and definitely like try to look for those people as well. Because you, of course, like if you're coming to the US to look for your degree and stuff, like you want to have the American life and like really be part of the culture and stuff, but sometimes it's also just good to have that bit of home and that feed back home. Yeah. So it's good to have both people because you're every single day you're doing your classes, and it's like it gets hard sometimes. Like we're in finals week right now. It gets hard. So like it's good that you already have that culture around you most of the day. So it's good to have that feed kind of back home, like with people that you know, that you can speak your language or can eat your food. So most of those organizations do like events with like food events, which are really like cozy and really good to eat sometimes like some good home food. So yeah, I think that this is like the big thing for me that I wish I had known, like that it was this supportive, I think. Yeah.
Especially of international students.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, and I know you touched on it a little bit with the with that club that you did the tour with, but how else did you find community here as an international student?
Yeah, community in general as well. I think Purdue has just so many clubs. So this thing that I said, like it's good to have like a lot of the American culture, but also some of your like home culture. On the other side, like you can have a little bit of your home culture with like the people that are just from your country that are here. But on the other side, you're already having classes, professors, all of that. But it's also just so good to be able to do something that you like. And that's where I think clubs really come hand in hand, and like join a sport club or like anything that you really enjoy, just like as a hobby or part-time. So you really meet with people that like that as well. So you already like have a friendship, a connection, like a topic of a conversation with those people, and you kind of create your friend circle around that. I think that really makes a difference, and it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know, it's been really cool to, you can build smaller communities, right, within it. And your friends you play maybe sports with, and you go play a game of pickup soccer. I know I've got a friend group there, and then I've got a friend group that I go study with. And it's nice to see, all of those different little groups. But then, when you start having crossover and you start to see some of your classmates out on the field, or you start to see those other things, it feels even more like community. And I feel like that happens all the time. And I feel like I always see people, and I'm like, you were just in my class like 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, like, what are you doing here? You're supposed to be in my physics class.
That's the only time I see you. No, it's great. And I know it's been really nice to find that. And then as, either a domestic student or an out-of-state student, it's nice also then to be able to meet international students. And I think and in-state students, and it all kind of becomes this one big family. I think that comes together, and it's nice that it's not, and we get the chance to meet so many different unique people from all over the world that come to Purdue's campus. Yeah. So it's been really awesome to meet other people. And so with that, what would you say has been one of the hardest traditions? And I know you said the weather, but is there something else that's kind of been hard to transition from home? And then kind of what are some of the things you did to overcome it? So kind of what is that harder transition?
There are some, but before I touch on that, just wanted to say that another thing that really impacted me, not impacted, but like I was really surprised that I really didn't know, is that when I searched Purdue, like to apply and stuff, I saw there was like 45,000 people, and I was like, this is big. Like, this is a whole city. Like this is a lot of people. I think we're like in 48,000 now,
right?
Something
About
like that, right?
We're just under 50,000.
Yeah,
if you
so
include
like
total population.
Yep.
Yeah, so like it's big. So like it's just impressive to see like how in this big like conjecture of people, like you just have so many people that are like in small circles, but also because like everyone, like there's something for everyone. I think that's the fun part of it, and you can really make like your circles, but also everyone is very like open-minded, like welcoming, and like I really felt this here, like even working at this office, the Office of Engineers. But seriously, people have that curiosity, like they want to know, you also want to know about them, and like this just makes them, I think, very nice and friendly. And you see people all over from the U.S., but also from Indiana, so and all over the world. So like you really have a good mixture. So I think that's great.
Awesome.
And yeah, other things that I think were very different. I often say it's like classes, just in general. But it always depends, like from high school to your to the university, how it goes, like this transition. But for me, it was like size of class for sure. Like I've never been in a classroom that was like 200 people in it, never in my life. And I thought it was going to be much worse than it actually was. So I think like the support and stuff that we have here is pretty good. So was able to pass everything, good grades, okay, we can do it. So yeah, but the class size definitely was a big shock, like because of the freshman year specifically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, like just like the way that exams go as well, like you just have like 300 people taking the exam in one single room, like in the Elliott Hall, which is what's it called?
That's our music hall
Music
here
hall.
on
Music
campus.
hall. Yeah, so you can imagine how many people there over there. So yeah, those are pretty big ones. And there was another one I wanted to touch on. What was the question again?
About like challenges you had to overcome or anything that made it harder for a transition from home to here.
Yeah. The other thing I think was also like just the process of applying to American universities in general. I would say this is an issue just because it's something that's like I didn't know at all. Like even like in creating this podcast, I touched on that and you guys were like, oh my God, seriously? I was like, yeah. So my big thing was like, I didn't know what an SAT was, which is the main standardized test to get to any university in the US.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think you guys were pretty shocked. I was like, yeah, I told that to everyone. And
that was surprising.
Yeah.
So I think that's something else as well. Like, this challenge of like getting to know exactly what you need to do, just having everything organized, and like this transition from going home to coming here. I think it's more like how supportive everyone around you can be, and like if you have the right mindset, if you have all the ingredients to your recipe, and make sure that like everything is in place. And I think this is very valid for anyone, not just for international students, but really like anyone that's transitioning from high school to college will see this big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is a big adjustment. No matter where you're coming from high school to college. It's weird. I mean, even just the grading structure, the 3 exams that make up most of your grade, whereas in high school you've got like 10 exams a semester plus assignments, and they're all like equally weighted.
And also like proximity to professors. Like all my time like in high school, it was very small classes, like 30 people max. I don't think I ever had more than 30 students in a classroom in high school before. So your proximity to the professor also is something that was a bit awkward to me, because like he has no idea who these 300 kids are, he's just lecturing here, like really lecture. So, but like going to the office hours, really asking for questions, like getting, like, I think in college you really have to be more proactive to get stuff, because everything's so massive.
No one's going to hold your hand.
That's right.
Exactly.
Say, here, come on, let's go over here and do this.
Yeah. You're having struggle. Oh, my dear. Yeah, let's go to the office hours. No, you have to make the time to go and walk 15 minutes to get there. In the cold.
And it's cool because then, the college students get to learn, a lot more of, what does life look like, right? When you get out of college, again, no one's going to spoon feed you. You need to kind of figure out, how to manage your schedule and what you need to be successful. And I think that's, kind of a beautiful thing of college, that we get to learn that, but it can be hard at first. And I know when it's stacked on top of other things like moving from, another country, all kind of stacks up. But I think, as you've said, there's definitely resources for students to use, whether that's fellow students, support groups, community. I think there's that ability to help make sure that we can make the transition as seamless as possible. And it's been a big goal. And I think hopefully you agree with that.
Yeah, completely agree. Yes.
Awesome. And
yeah, I guess we have one more quick question for you, and then we'll close out your part of this episode. But what I know, it's so sad. I wish we had more time. Do you have any advice that you'd give some international students who are looking to decide if Purdue is the right fit for them?
Yeah, I think a big thing, it really is like the college life. So there are different campuses, there are different types of universities out there, even like types of cities that the universities are in. So as I mentioned, like if you're able to visit. Unfortunately, that's not a big thing, but like get in touch with people that are there. It can either be like through an organization, or you can really just like contact a club that were interested in and like ask some questions, because you're really gonna find nice people along the way. So like, even though like, okay, I like knitting, I'm gonna search a club for knitting, but like maybe the person's very nice and talkative, and like, yeah, they will be nice to answer some of your questions. So I think like getting to know this a bit more and see like if this would be good for you, like campus wise, but also like Purdue is a very challenging institution. And yeah, so of course, like when you apply to colleges, you really want to go to the best of the best and like all of that, but you have to know that there are going to be some challenges along the way. And I think that's something that for me at least was really good for Purdue, was that I felt like I had that support most of the time to be able to strive and grow in that environment that is very challenging, as we know from engineering perspective. So yeah, I think those are good points for people that are coming.
Yeah, it is really important to come into college, no matter who you are, with a good mindset of actually being willing to accept and overcome those challenges that you're going to face.
Yeah, learn from your mistakes, like know that you're not going to be the best, you're not going to be the worst either, and that's more than fine. You're going to do well in a type of class, you're going to do bad in another one, but know that there are always like people above you and below you. Like you don't have to be the top or the very rock bottom. You're never going to be that. So yeah, like trust in yourself, everything's gonna be fine, and follow your intuition. I think also sometimes I really think so, because sometimes you just don't feel like, oh yeah, I really like this college. Oh my God, it's top ranked, but like I don't know, I don't feel this, and like, you know, so this happens. Like for me, I was like, oh yeah, Purdue is really good, but I was like, yeah, but I'm like West Lafayette, Indiana, and I was like, okay, let me check, and then I was like, yep, application, done. Yeah, let's go. Accept. And that was it. So I think really getting to know like the people that are there, like we have a lot of like social media, like Purdue has a lot of social media. You guys are doing a wonderful job, I think, with the podcast and like also talking to more students and getting this vision out there. So yeah, I think like reaching out to those sources, also like showing that you're proactive and you're actually like engaged and trying to learn more. I think that's always like a good thing.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Isabella, for your insights.
Sure, thank you.
We've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the podcast. I guess right before we switch people here, do you want to just real quick say why you chose Purdue?
So why I chose Purdue, we always get this question with families, very standard question. For me, most of all, was that it was top ranked in aerospace engineering specifically. At the time I applied, I think was 5th in the country, and now we are 3rd. So yay.
Ooh.
Aerospace, yay. So yeah, we are a really good institution for that, and that was like one of my main reasons why. But also on top of that, as I said, like international students, we applied to many colleges, and I got a bunch to, thank God I really got a bunch of them that I could choose from. But I really chose Purdue in the end of the day because I thought it was the most relevant to industry, and like how professional you can be, like how close to the industry you can be, and like how what is it called, placement rates?
Yeah, job placement.
Yeah, job placement rates, and like we also have the biggest student-led career fair, all of that. So for me, that was a huge difference from Purdue to other colleges, that I was like, okay, this place can really prepare me to have an internship, have a co-op, which I think I did at this point in time. So great example for that. But yeah, this is exactly what I was looking for when I applied and when I accepted Purdue. I was like, I really want to make into the industry, like be a competitive professional. And I think this is why, like this is my main reason why. It was really the close to the industries and partnerships with like colleges, research opportunities, internship opportunities, really being close to the companies. And they basically just coming to campus to get us from here. So the Purdue name, having a Purdue diploma and a Purdue name in your resume, I think really makes a difference. And yeah.
That concludes part 1 of our International Student Podcast. And thanks, Isabella, for joining us today. We'll be back for part 2 with Vansh, coming soon. Hey, y'all, it's us again. We have many opportunities for you to actually connect with our podcast.
Yeah, so you can send an email to the email down below on your screen, and send us a picture of you enjoying your coffee break with us, you and your coffee mug.
Yes, send us a selfie. And if also send us your mug if you want to be featured at the podcast. We have our address also linked below if you would like to send us our mug. And we'd love to feature your mug on our podcast with our next upcoming episodes. Thank you so much.
See you guys next time.